This is how I accidentally manifested a car. At this point in my life, I had successfully manifested a large sum of money. Honestly, I didn't realize the power of dwelling in the wish fulfilled until this happened to me. I didn't own a car, and I conveniently lived in a city where I didn't need one. The city had a great public transportation system, and the company I worked for paid for all my work-related travel by taxi. In 2013, the company decided to close its operations in the country I was living in, and to comply with the local labor laws, it had to pay me a compensation payment of 2 years' salary. It was a lot of money for me at that time. I decided to grow a small business that I just set up a few months earlier. Anyway, the weekend after I received the compensation payment, I went to a nearby shopping center with my wife. Every year, the shopping center would have a new car display where the major car brands would promote their new models. As I walked by the cars, I took notice of the prices. This is something I had never done before because I could never afford one, nor really wanted one. When I saw the prices, a smile came to my face because I knew that if I wanted one of these new cars, I could literally go to the bank, withdraw the money, and become a proud owner of one of the cars that day. In fact, I could afford to buy two of them. While shopping with my wife, I was on a high. I couldn't get over how great it felt that I could actually afford one of those cars. I was basking in the feeling and thoroughly enjoying the little mental game I was playing. I was imagining myself driving around town, taking friends out, even showing up at work, surprising everyone that I had a car. I even imagined the surprise on my parents' face when they came to visit and saw for the first time in my life I owned a car. I dwelt in this feeling for fun for the entire day. Now, at that time, we had two small kids and my mother-in-law lived with us. She was a great help and made it possible for both my wife and I to devote enough time to our careers. She was also a great cook. In the neighborhood, there was a man in his 30s. He was a taxi driver and also a security guard. He worked hard and saved his money, and he recently bought a used car in really good condition. One day he offered to take my mother-in-law someplace, and she rewarded him by preparing for him a nice hot meal. He loved it, and he became a frequent feature at our place. He'd come over twice a week, helped out doing things my mother-in-law found difficult to do, and in return she would make him a nice lunch. It worked out well. Although the guy was 30, he acted more like he was 15. He was quite immature and had a loud mouth. So he didn't get much respect from anyone in the neighborhood except for my mother-in-law, who he got on really well with. Well, a few weeks later, the man won the lottery. He won over $1 million. In the country where we lived, that was a lot of money. Everybody in the neighborhood suddenly wanted to become his friend. But my mother-in-law warned him that many of these new friends were really not all that genuine. Over a couple weeks, he discovered my mother-in-law's warning was spot on. He realized that she was the only real friend he had in our neighborhood. Everyone else just wanted to party with him or waste his money. Fortunately, he followed my mother-in-law's advice and deposited all the money into a bank, which paid him a modest amount every month, so he couldn't squander it all. However, he did set some money aside to buy himself a new car. This was really the only thing he did for himself. And after buying the new car, he came over to show it to my mother-in-law and gave us his old car, which was only about 3 years old at the time. He said to us that he had no use for this old car and wanted to give it to us since we respected him, unlike the other people in the neighborhood. Now, when I reflected on it, I realized that in a roundabout way, actually manifested that car into our lives. It was by dwelling in the wish fulfilled, how I would feel if I had that car, that triggered this manifestation. Hit the subscription button because you want to maximize the benefits of using Neville Goddard's techniques. I literally upload practical videos every week that will be a game changer for you.